Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30 this Friday, May 2nd. Time to wrap it up for today. And after that 2 o'clock hour, we got a little bit of volatility, especially when it hit that 2:30 time frame. That's exactly when the M period started getting a little bit of a heartburn. A hard run down here. They run down to the initial balance high, bounced off it, traded back up again. And at this point, they're kind of holding on to the gains. I mean, I haven't tried to trade it. It's pretty range bound. The edges are getting failing, but it's not kind of selling off, if you know what I mean. A pretty good ledge here at the 5700 right now. That is the initial balance high. That's also the area which is being defended. Now, if we can hold on to this, we may start off from a pretty good spot going into the next week. But at this point, at this point, I'm just going to start from the long side of the market. No reason not to, right? So start from the long side. Watch this edge, the 5700. The trade below that one. I would go back range bound below the 5680s. If they go that far down, I would start off looking for further retracement to get started in the overnight. So that's kind of the dynamic I'm looking at. So looking at that edge, the 5700. That's an edge we don't have on the chart right now, but it's a little bit above it. But that's an edge which you want to pay attention to. So below that one, we'll take off the long bias. Below the 57, 5685 or 80 to 85, we'll take off. We'll go back, start thinking about the short side of the market at that point. So that's it. No trades on the ES for me today. Only thing I managed to do today was a NASDAQ trade earlier on, and I was shaking out of that trade, and that was it. Since then, I mean, this pop we had later at that noon hour, it didn't turn into more than just slop back and forth by swinging back and forth in the range. So, but it is to the upside. And same thing here. The NASDAQ took out the support there at the 190s. The new edge is at 175. So that's where we're going to pay attention to going into the overnight. So same story there, looking to buy down to this 175 edge. Now, if they close below it and start off range, I would take off the long bias. And below that, I would give it one level below the 115s down to the 7880s. And so below the 20,080s, I would start thinking about the short side. Maybe even down to that ledge at 60. So between 60 and 80 here. If that BC area comes out, I would be looking at the short side of the market to get started. But both the ES and Nasdaq, the way it looks right now is we start off on the long side, and let's see where we end up closing. On the bond market, the big move to the downside, I'm retracing a little bit here going into the close, but um, so far price is down quite a bit, and the yields came up a little bit. Could very be, seems like a rotation out of bonds into equity. So it's a risk on kind of a day. It's all based on a great employment situation. The job report was pretty good. So then more jobs created than expected, no government jobs. They were decreasing, so that's what we want to see. And then, of course, we had uh, the unemployment rate staying pretty stable. So it didn't move anything. Oil and gold. So gold is to the downside and not looking like it's going to be very strong at all. So I would start from the short side on gold. Let's see how far they can take it. They ran it down to that attractor we talked about, 3240s, and they're pretty much running, staying there. So I would start off range bound. I would probably keep a bias to the downside just to get started to see if we can retest the lows, potentially take this lower in the overnight. But range bound trading around that 3240 at high volume attractor is kind of what I'm looking at when it comes to the gold market. And then finally, oil. Oil looks like they're just kind of settling in, but they're settling in right below 58 or right at 58. So it is to the downside, and I would start off on the short side, look to sell strength. If they start trading above the 59.10, 59s, I would start thinking about retracement trade higher. But at this point, I would look for short setups against the 58.50s, 58.75s up to the 59s for rotations back down. And not going to be very aggressive on the long side. I think if they start taking this lower, we could see another move out of the middle to the downside kick in. So anyway, so that's so oil and gold start off with the short bias. Gold is range bound at that high volume attractor, and oil is kind of just holding at that lower edge. So, but both of them are kind of poised to take it lower, at least what it looks like. Now back to the ES, and we're kind of holding here. So let's see where they end up closing. And so far, it's been a very much a risk-on day. So we'll take it. We like it. I think the capital flow is turning and has turned. And we are going to start thinking about the long side of the market now, going see how far they can climb this to the upside. The only thing I can see is screwed up is like some kind of a big failure on the a trade deal or something like that. Something comes apart there. But if those deals starts coming together, I think market just going to keep trading higher. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Wrap it up. You'll see you back on Monday. Have a great weekend. All right, guys, later.